And that's why green steel is going to be named after various G.I. Joe figures. Alright, I'm muted. I'm live on Twitch. I'm not yet live on the YouTube. Where am I? Yep, there we go. Cool. Live on YouTube as well. Looks like we're just about ready to get going. Thanks everyone for joining me for the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream. I am DDO Community Manager Cordovan. We'll get started in just a second. Hello and welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDOstream and youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons/live. I am DDO Community Manager Cordovan. Thank you very much for joining me. We'd love to hear you in chat, whether it be on YouTube or Twitch. If we can answer the question, we will. If we can't, we'll let you know. We are on Arganesson today. I am on my level 5 TR'd Barbarian. Was a cleric, now he's a Barbarian. I got a full group here, and we're going to start off with Irestone Inlet. Going to be running some free-to-play quests, although there's some thought maybe we'll go in Necro 1, depending on how things go here. So, thanks for joining me. Here to answer any questions you might have. It's been a pretty productive week. We're getting things in front of the Players' Council, getting things ready for Lamania, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. I don't know. What else should we talk about? What do we got going on this weekend? Oh, it's a Champion Hunter week next weekend. So for the entirety of the week, we're going to have all the stuff in the Mysterious Remnants vendor. So that should be pretty cool. You know, like the cloaks and the bracers and the crowns and the augments. It's all going to be in the list. And that starts on Thursday, late morning, runs all week long until the next bonus. So it runs through that Wednesday, getting shut off that Thursday morning when we kick in the next bonus. Should be a pretty good one. Fire the Dragon Leader says Necro 1 is easy. Yes. It's not too bad. It's also really good XP. So that's why I was thinking Necro 1. But I'm open to ideas. Like I say, the Players' Council is hopefully going to be getting a look at some of the named items coming in Update 29 outside of Epic Green Steel, which they haven't really yet seen all the details on. Soon. They're taking a look at sort of our level cap increase and a few other things right now on the Players' Council. We're hoping to bring that to you guys real soon, in time for Lamania certainly, which should be within the next couple weeks or so, if all goes well. Otherwise, I don't know, what else should we, what else can we talk about? Night Revels is done. It was fun. I think everyone had a pretty good time. We'd love to get your feedback on things. So if you have any specific feedback related to Night Revels, things you'd like to see next year and what have you, now's a great time to get us that feedback because we're putting things together. I know certainly we've heard some things that are pretty basic commonalities. I actually have quite a few characters in Arganesson. I'm doing pretty good. I've got like a level 28, level 10, handful of level 7s in that. This guy was 28 and then ERTR'd, so I'm not doing that anymore. He was in a static group, and I remade him with the Barbarian changes just to be more Barbarian-y, because I liked Barbarians. I have a level 14 monk. I have quite a few characters in Argo. I don't know quite why that is. I guess I've just been in several static groups in Arganesson over the years, which is actually kind of funny because, well, I guess I can mention it. We're starting a new dev team static group here tonight. I'm going to have some people from inside of the building playing on Wednesday nights. And the current thinking is we're going to be doing that on Organism as well. It is going to be a private static group with some of the devs and other people in the building who are interested. That should be pretty cool. Haven't quite decided what I'm going to roll up for that group yet. Depends what the party makeup ends up looking like, because I think we'll be fine on the DPS front, but I'm not sure we have anyone who wants to be the trapper or the healer. So either that's going to be me, or perhaps I might kind of roll out my favorite soul rogue build again. Although I kind of wanted to try something different. Well, the nice thing about that favorite soul rogue build is you can be both a healer and a trapper, so you can carry both, and you can do moderate DPS and buffing. So, you know, it's kind of a nice one character serves several roles effectively thing, which is good for like a static group. But I've actually been thinking I might want to do a favored soul swashbuckler, maybe? Because I kind of would like to, you know, maximize charisma and wisdom as my main stats, to charisma to hit and damage with swashbuckler. Maybe even try to work a little bit on turn undead just for funsies, which, you know, having a high charisma would help with that as well. But it depends. I don't know. I don't know how effective that would be. Might be a bad idea. Have any of you guys ever tried something like that? Say a single weapon fighting favored soul or cleric? I was thinking favored soul just because if I am going to have charisma as my top stat, with wisdom as a secondary stat, then that would lend itself toward favored soul nicely. Because I'd get turn undead and, you know, charisma to hit damage and other stuff. I can't think of right now because my brain's not working. You're right that favored souls can't turn undead, but they can with a... I can't remember which enhancement it is that gives you the turn undead feat. And that's what I was thinking about dipping into to be able to do that. Yep. Yeah, I've actually been using a Gemini on my favorite soul. Can no one get that chest? On my favorite soul rogue on Sarlona, I've been using Find Traps to give myself a nice little boost to search. Although I've actually been just fine on search. I really haven't even needed to use it so much. But it is there if I need it. So.
If it's still locked, that means there's still something alive from that group.
Oh, right. Yeah, we took care of it though, so we must have killed whatever it is that was the problem. Come on, Chai. Bring him back. We should be able to get him.
Those wards you got to look out for.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Hey, son, are you able to toss Chai a heal? Is it Divine Crusader? I don't know. I need to look it up.
I have enough pots I can carry you some. Hold on a second.
I was mostly just thinking about it on the car ride into work. So, but, you know, I was kind of thinking if there was a way I could get Turn Undead and I'd do that. But the reason I want to do Favorite Souls, I think it just might fit better than Cleric with a Swashbuckler, particularly if I'm going to use Charisma as a high stat. I mean, not like it would be a terrible choice to go Cleric, because I am going to have Wisdom as a secondary stat, but it seems like it would just make more sense for the build to go Favorite Soul. Plus, then if I was able to take enough Favorite Soul levels Although I needed to check, I can't remember off the top of my head now how many levels of bard you need to be able to do charisma to damage. Is it 3 or is it 5? 3? I can't remember now. If it's 3, then I definitely would want to go Favorite Soul, because then I could get my wings at level 20. Like I said, this build is not exactly uber planned out. It was basically brainstormed this morning while I was on my drive to work. so always the best way to get started on a new build. Yeah. Okay, Divine Crusader. See, I thought there was something else that gave you Turn Undead. Guess I'm wrong. Yeah, I know, I could be a Favorite Soul Rogue, Technical 13, but like I say, I've already got a Favorite Soul Rogue on Sarlona, so I wanted to try something slightly different if I'm going to take up that healer slot in the static group. And I haven't tried a Swashbuckler Cleric healer type yet, so I thought that might be fun. But I don't know, depends whether or not we have a group trapper or not. I should tank. Yeah, right. Yeah. But the thing is, I know that, you know, in the group that we tend to play with, we're not going to be hurting in the melee department. At first pass, when I was like, hey, what should we play? I think most of the group said, I'm going to play a barbarian. or something along those lines. So I think we got the melee spots covered pretty good. It's the rest that we need to work on. Yeah, 3. Okay, that's what I thought it was 3 bard. I just wanted to double check that before I built it. So then what I could do is go 3 bard and then 17 favorite soul, so at level 20 I'd get my my wings, which would be nice, and that would be another reason to go favorite soul. On my rogue favored soul build, I tend to not do charisma outside of what I need to do basic spell casting, and instead focus on intelligence and wisdom. Intelligence for intelligence to hit and damage through the Harper tree, and then also to improve your rogue skills. And wisdom, because that determines the DC of your spells that require it as a favorite soul. But like I said, I was thinking, you know, if I'm going to basically have charisma as my main stat, then as a swash healer, or however you want to call it, then charisma would make the most sense. But if I am going to top out charisma, then maybe it is worth trying to find a way to bring in Turn Undead. Although if I really can't get it until epic levels, I haven't really found Turn Undead to be particularly useful in epic yet. Although maybe it's just because I've never really dedicated a guide to it. I need to rejoin the build guild? Yeah, I would like to start something like that up again. It's just mostly a matter of free time, right? Because I've got most of my nights already pretty well taken up with stuff. Except I now have my Tuesday nights open again. So maybe. But under the current setup, that would leave my Wednesdays. I would have things going on, either DDO or non-DDO related. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. So the only real day then would be Saturday, which I can't consistently commit to doing something on every Saturday night. Yes, Russell. The favorite soul's major stat is charisma. That will determine, say, the level of spells they can cast along with their spell points. That's why charisma under this build would be the main stat. In addition, I'd be using charisma to hit and damage by splashing Bard Swashbuckler. But I would still want wisdom because you need wisdom for the DCs of your spells, depending on how I want to build it. If I'm just going to be pure healer, then I could probably dump wisdom for the most part. But since I like to cast, I love my Symbol of Death and a few other things as well. I might want to get my DCs up, destruction, that sort of thing. Might want to get those DCs up by having a decent wisdom. Depends. But you could. I could, say, just focus on charisma or, I don't know, charisma and con or something like that, That's a certainly possible thing to do as well. Yeah. Oop, there's another chest. There we go. Dum -dum -dum -dum. Let's see. All right. Very cool. Do you guys have a preference on Necro 1 or the Depths quests? You're right. The Symbol of Death does not have a DC, but if I'm going to primarily do a lot of Symbol of Death and Destruction, Destruction does have a DC. So, dang it. We really need a staircase here. Swimming away. Here I go. If only I had a jump. Alright. But I really wouldn't worry too much about Symbol of Death because I'm not going to get that for, quite some time under this build. But I will get Destruction fairly soon. Well, as soon as I get level 6. And I would also, am I correct? I'm trying to remember what Undeath to Death is. Does Undeath to Death, that does have a DC that will be boosted by your Charisma, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think. The bonuses this weekend are going to be a Champion Hunter week. So it's not just the weekend, but this one's actually going to run into the week. And it's going to be a Champion Hunter weekend. So anything that's in the Champion Hunter vendor is going to be available. Pretty alright. don't know, maybe you guys are raising some good points. Maybe I don't need to worry about wisdom under this build, or the investment would be such that it wouldn't be worth doing, and I should focus on something else instead. You guys are raising good points. Does my guild have a ship? Yes, but it's been so long since I put buffs in it, I don't actually know if we have anything in the way of buffs. Yeah, sure, let's do the Depths quests. They're quick and easy. See, I'm one of those weirdos. I mean, I know guild amenities are awesome, but I've been playing DDO since long before there were guild airship amenities. So, I don't actually worry so much about them. I like them, but I don't know. We'll start with Depths of Despair. Does anyone else have a bad habit of overbuying heal and resurrection scrolls? I don't think that's possible. Although I guess I do have some characters that have like 400. Guess I'll just do the same for both, and then it's like you use a lot more heal scrolls than you need resurrection scrolls. So then you're just like, oh, maybe I didn't need 400 resurrection scrolls. Hopefully not anyway. No increase in remnants dropping, not with the weekend bonus. Sorry about that. I don't know, what else would you guys recommend? Give me some build advice. Let's just assume here I am going to go for the Bard Favored Soul, so I can do some healing and focus on single weapon fighting. I think I'm on the right track by maxing out the charisma, do the charisma to damage from single weapon fighting, also using that for, general favored soul benefits. I'm going to need a little bit of wisdom, but maybe I don't need that wisdom, so maybe I should just give myself like as much con as I can. I definitely don't need strength. Intelligence won't really matter either. So would you recommend I do dip into wisdom, or should I just sort of save those points, give myself a bare minimum of wisdom, and then, dump the rest into, say, constitution? Am I trying to be melee? Not specifically, because I think with this static group we're going to be pretty good on the melee front. But, that said, I am going to be, in some combat. So I want to be not useless on that front. Let's see, 8-Bit Oscar asks, what's this I hear about you shaving the DDO logo in my head if the Movember page hits 10,000? That is correct. Someone said, hey, if you hit $10,000, if you raise 10,000, will you shave the DDO logo in your head? And I was like, sure, why not? Frankly, the odds of us doing that are pretty slim. That would be quite the insane amount of fundraising if we did it. But yes, if we do it, I will do it. And I won't even worry about it. It'll be perfectly fine. I mean, frankly, I don't look that great with the mustache, but yet I do that every November anyway. So, it ain't gonna kill me to do a DDO logo in my head. That actually sounds pretty cool. And by cool, I mean cool for me. Yeah, I will need at least 14 strength, but I thought I'd largely take care of that through itemization. Put on some kind of strength augment or strength item to take care of that, so I could just have a decent carrying capacity. I just set off the nuke on that fundraising thing. Hey, that would be a great thing to do. I mean, this is about raising money for men's health, prostate, testicular cancer, research and support programs. things like that. They fund a lot of good causes, and you could find out that whole list yourself if you're interested. So if if we do happen to raise 10,000, that would be great. So I have no problem with doing that. Thanks, Little Dragon. Nice to see you. We have a new player to DDO this year, trying to learn more about the game. This is the first time you've watched the stream. I really appreciate you joining me. It's great to see you on the stream. Hopefully, our chat room. I know we've got some pretty smart people in here, so I'm sure they should be able to answer a lot of your questions. You also raise a good point. Well, I would want at least enough strength for power attack and perhaps cleave if I wanted to go with cleave on single weapon fighting. I haven't quite decided on that one yet. But see, I'm going to be single weapon fighting because I'm going to be doing the Bard swashbuckler thing. So I would not be doing two-weapon or two-handed fighting. Alright, let's see. To learn and cast a spell, Technical 13 says, a favored soul must have a charisma score equal to at least 10 plus the spell level. However, the difficulty class for the saving throw against a favored soul spell is 10 plus spell level plus your wisdom modifier. Yes, I knew that. Charisma is spell points, spell level. Wisdom is DCs. Whereas on a cleric, it's wisdom for all that stuff. For a cleric, you typically just need wisdom or a charisma if you're going to use charisma-based skills, like Turn Undead. You're right. Solar Snow says charisma would just be to damage, not for to hit. You're correct on that. So, if I wanted to give myself 13 strength to get myself power attack, it would also have the benefit of giving me a little bit better two-hit. I have also figured I'd largely take care of the two-hit issue by through itemization. I generally haven't found two-hit to be a huge problem in this game. I could just pop on an accuracy item, have a good plus weapon, and I should be basically fine on the two-hit front. But I suppose if that becomes a problem, I could always up my strength. But I really don't think it will be. Yep. I thought my current thinking, although I'm open to suggestions, someone's raised a good reason to be a half-elf. Otherwise, I was considering going human, because if I am going to be a favored soul swashbuckler, I'm probably going to need feats might become a bit of an issue. Because, I'm going to need, well, I don't need, but I want Quicken. I'm going to need, basic stuff that I would want for favored soul, but I'm also going to need to take, or would probably want to take, all of the lines of single weapon fighting as well. So, yep. I mean, this is being done for a specific static group, right? So I don't think that we're going to be, say, doing EE rating on that. So particularly due to that, I really don't think that two-hit's going to be much of an issue. Well, see, I don't want to take 2 fighter levels for feats because I would like to get stay 17 favored soul if possible, and I'm going to want 3 bard so that I can get the charisma to damage. And the reason I want that favored soul at level at 17 is so I can get my favored soul wings, which I love. They're very useful. By the way, 67 mysterious remnants there. Not bad. Not bad at all. I could do charisma to attack with PDK. I'd have to spec out that level of fighter. It's a possibility. Yeah, Morning Lord might be another good choice. You guys are had some interesting ideas. I maybe should dip into Iconics. Take a look at that for the build. It's probably a pretty good idea. Well, I was thinking, and I haven't really done the research on this yet, so again, it may be a bad decision, but my thinking was that I would perhaps go longsword, and then take the line of, is it Silver Flame that gives you the longsword proficiency? Or that gives you the bonus to longsword stuff? And I'd use that for the single weapon fighting choice. No, we're probably going to start at level 7. Just because we all have vet status too. Oh, you can't longsword and swashbuckler? Good point. Okay, I've never tried it. My only swashbuckler is a rapier user. Alright, well that throws that out the window then. It's not finessable. So then maybe PDK would make sense, because I'd use short sword. Yep. Fire the Dragon Leader says, have we ever upped the Silver Flame Potion stack cap? No. It's something we hear from our Silver Flame Potion users regularly, but we have not as of yet set aside the time to do that, nor made the decision whether that's something we want to support. Yeah, Undying Court, right? That's the one that gives you a longsword. Clearly I need a better weapon here too, I just don't really have it yet. At this level it doesn't really matter. A Scimitar swashbuckler weapon? That would be cool. That makes some sense. That would be very powerful though. Recommend hand axe for the swashbuckler. Interesting. I hadn't considered that. What would be the advantage of hand axe for swashbuckler? I'm not opposed to that at all. That would make some sense. Hand axe with Dwarven Constitution for damage? I could. I suppose that would be a real different sort of shift in the character build, but might well make sense. Yeah, envenomed blade. God, that thing is crazy. You know, the old group I did with less than Samus, I used that stinking envenomed blade all the way up to level 20 or 18. It was kind of disgusting. Yeah, okay, Sovereign Host. Yeah, right. That's the longsword. Yeah, I really haven't played many dwarves, to be honest. So maybe that would make sense. That'd be something different to do. A dwarven favored soul bard? It's a strange combo. Might be kind of cool though. I don't know though. I mean, I guess charisma to damage would be pretty nice. But go with light picks. Interesting. Oh, I'm gonna have to look up the swashbuckler stuff to decide what weapon might be best and whether any of them fit with a cleric deity. I don't think they do outside of longsword. That's why I was thinking that, but I hadn't looked up that it wasn't a finessable weapon. It's kind of a bummer. Go Shuriken Thrower? It's a possibility too. That would make sense, because if I'm going to be a healer, I'm going to maybe be stepping back some. So then would you recommend Drow? You know I like my Drow. Yeah. Dual wield tower shields. It's pretty funny. A warlock feat to allow you to use 2 orbs. That might be tricky, because orbs are treated as shields for the purposes of equipment slots and such. So I'm not sure that that would be easy to do. I also don't know what there'd be a lot of interest in. You have to justify the work. Maybe though. I could do a halfling for throwing weapons. Yeah, there's a lot. I guess what we're saying here is there's a lot of options. So, you guys are gonna make me do some work this afternoon, looking up some things. I need to figure out which is going to be the best race. Should I go dwarf, halfling, or human on my bard favored soul? And then which weapon should I use for my swashbuckling? All good, good. Or should I go melee or ranged? You guys have given me 3 options I hadn't considered this morning. Yep. Yeah, if I go for the shuriken thing, that would probably be Drow. Yep. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. That was my default thinking, Axel, was I would do human because I'm going to be a little feet starved if I'm going favored soul bard with single weapon fighting. Go for Drow and use short swords? It's another good reason to go Drow. Oscar581 says, so, Cordovan, me and my friends recently ran Restless Isles. Any plans to fix the, quote, broke parts? What broke parts in particular are you talking about? I don't know that we have many broke parts in Restless Isles. Yeah, see, the big reason I didn't want to go Drow is, well, I've played a lot of Drow, so I know full well how hit points can be a problem. So, I don't know. Go half-orc, make halflings my favorite weapon. I love it. Yes, we should totally be able to do that. I'm a halfling thrower build, and by that I mean I throw halflings. The glitched optionals and quest items in Restless Isles. What's wrong with the quest items? Other than, I mean, they're not broken, right? They're just maybe not as desirable as they used to be. I'm not aware that they're broken per se, unless there's something I'm not aware of, which is possible. Glitched optionals, I'm not specifically sure which optionals are glitched. I'd have to look that up. But I suppose it's something we can look into. You know, there has been a plan at some point to someday do something. To make it easier to navigate Restless Isles and such. Some Caneth challenge items are still not working as intended. Do you have a specific example there? I mean, I know there's a bit of a issue where you can do on them, but someone says I should ditch Swashbuckler and just go straight single weapon fighting. That's something I had considered as well. Reason being is that at only 3 levels of Swashbuckler, you don't really get a lot of the good, quote, good Swashbuckler stuff. The primary thinking of that would be that I'd need that to get Charisma to damage. But if I went, say, Dwarf, I could do Con to damage. And then I wouldn't really need to worry about that. But now we're getting a little far afield. I don't know. It's tricky. There's an optional in both quests that is not working in Restless Isles. Alright. I'll have to look into that. See specifically what we know and don't know about that. Inventory problems. Gonk, gonk, gonk. And Dwarf gets axe damage. So yeah, I could do, say, a Dwarven Favored Soul something build. Do hand axe. It's a pretty cool idea.
Oh, while I'm thinking about it, Jerry,
Uh-huh.
one suggestion for Night Revels next time, maybe turn off where every time if you're in a group somebody gets chocolate or a key that it pops up in the chat.
Oh, right. Yeah. Or at least make it maybe toggleable.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, I need to get a bag. I just haven't actually done it yet. I actually think I've got a whole stash of bags in my TR cache. I just haven't pulled out yet. You guys are giving me some interesting ideas. I really don't know now. I'm more confused than when I started in terms of what I should be doing on my build. Thanks. No, I appreciate it. You guys are giving me a lot to think about. I really don't know. Are there any plans, Edward T. asks, for keeping the raid completion counter separated from the TR reset? It would encourage many to do more TRs instead of waiting for the 20th run. It would also encourage, incidentally, I think, more raiding on those paths. It's something that has been brought up several times in discussions. It's something, that we've heard quite a bit from the community that you would like to see. It would not be a, quote, easy change, and that it would take some amount of time to it would take a fair amount of engineering work to be able to preserve that through the reincarnation process. But it is something that we are considering. I don't know, I've heard some arguments against doing that as well. But um, overall, it's something I've been pushing for. We'll see. I think it's a great idea. Axel asks, is the Night Revels candies not pausing in public areas working as intended? Yes. I mean, it's certainly a feature that we could have introduced to them that would make some sense that they would pause when in a public area. But instead, we just put them hour on, 2 hours off. And I believe the general thinking of that was a deliberate design decision. But that's not to say it was the only possible decision. How do we feel about the fighter right now? More specifically, the Vanguard. I have been searching for a sword and board style in a game that isn't just a chew toy for the enemies, Soft-Eyed PC asks. In general, how do we feel about the fighter? We want to work on the fighter. It is on our short-term list of things to work on. We did introduce those tactical feats just recently, and I do think that we plan to do more along those lines. You asked specifically about the Vanguard. I know that the Defender of Sivarus is the one that I think we're going to be working on first. But yes, in general, we will be working on the fighter soon. Oh, the Slayer area and the Night Revels is a public area. That's probably why we went with that decision. Server upgrade soon, question mark. Defined soon. But yes, we will be doing our data center move. Probably it's been pushed out into early part of the new year, but we'll see. Stay tuned. We're going to bring it as soon as we can. All right. All right. Well, let's see. I think maybe that'll pretty well do it then for the live stream. Unless you guys want to run. Well, nah, I should probably just call it done here. Yeah, Defender versus Paladin. Which? See, I knew that. Which one am I trying to think of right now? The Fine, let me look it up. Sometimes my brain is just terrible. There we go. Stalwart Defender, that's the one I'm thinking of. Stalwart Defender. Okay. Let's see. Technical 13 says DDO stream is not going to answer me lol. What am I not going to answer? What are the details of the great server merge of 2016? That's news to me. I know that Sev, made that comment, but that was in no way committing to any sort of date or time or confirmation that something will or will not happen. So, and I know that I was hearing Sev talk a little bit about some Kensei work as well. So I think in regard to Vanguard, I would expect Vanguard to see some activity as we do our fighter pass, but I believe in general the thinking is that Vanguard is in a better place for the fighter than the other two enhancement lines. If you disagree, please let us know. I'd be curious to know in particular what you think Vanguard is lacking to make it more Vanguard-y. Is the test server coming on anytime soon? Yes, we're hoping to get it on Lamania within the next couple of weeks. Probably not next week. Maybe the week after. Maybe the week after that. It depends because we got Thanksgiving coming up pretty soon too. But we're working on it. So. Yeah, I think technical says answer is just going to have to stay the answer for that question right now because we really don't have anything else to add to it. That's where we sit. Is character copy up for it yet? Yes. Will there be a wipe? Probably. As long as character copy is working, we will be doing a character wipe for update 29. That allows people to refresh their characters, bring over their newest version of their characters, that sort of thing. So that makes a lot of sense. The reason we didn't do it for update 28 is at the time we were starting our preview cycle for 28, character copy was not working. But that is working again. So there's no reason not to do a wipe. One last time in the bonus here, because Wily Coyote asks again about the bonus for the week. The bonus for the week is a Champion Hunter week. So the Mysterious Remnants vendor is going to have all the stuff in the Champion vendor list. Cloaks, bracers, augments, crowns, cloaks. And it's going to go a week long. All right. Sounds good. And just a quick note that I am going to get you guys a Turbine Point code in the in-game mail system later on this afternoon, so you can check your inbox for that. I really appreciate you guys joining me. Did well. We tore through that content, and I didn't even die once. Thanks to you guys. Appreciate it. How many streams have I not died even once? I don't know if I want to know the answer to that. Why no increase in remnant drops? Civic Spoon asks. Because in general, I think we're pretty happy with the acquisition rate of mysterious remnants. Will there be armors in Update 29? And Naxamandros asks. Whoa, good question. I believe the answer is yes. I think I saw our art guy actually working on some kind of heavy armor at least. Like art-wise, which would indicate probably. But I don't really have a much more definitive answer than that for you, sorry. Oh, we could. I'll ask about that drop rate. Maybe we could do something. We'll see. Can we get potions that up remnant drops? Oscar581 asks. Yes, they are currently available in the Traveler's Trunk, which is a limited time only item for now. That I know is going to be coming here sometime between now and the end of the year. What about the auras for Mirror of Glamoring for armors? That would be cool. No immediate plans for that, but that would be cool. Any new Artificer gear in Update 29? Yes. I know of at least one thing that is very awesome that'll be coming for the Artificer in Update 29. Alright, that's going to do it. Thank you for watching the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDOstream and youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons/live. You can follow us on Twitch to be notified for when we go live with shows just like this one, and you can find our full Sunday to Sunday schedule on twitch.tv/DDOstream. We do archive the videos both on Twitch and on YouTube, so that's youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons. If you want to check out the archived videos, leave us a comment, ask us a question. We do pay attention to the chat afterwards in YouTube as well, so that's another good place to ask a question. Next week, we'll be back on Argonesson for week 2 of 2, probably running the same character. Maybe we'll take care of Necro 1 or something else here by that time. And I think that's going to do it. Thank you very much for watching. See you again soon.